Hi, I'm Mike Getter, Product Manager with Coachmen Catalina. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough showing you how to use everything on your new Coachmen Catalina. Also, don't forget to download your Coachmen Owner's Manual. And lastly, when you take delivery of your Catalina, go through it and do a detailed walkthrough and note anything that you may find that isn't up to your standards and submit it to your local dealer. Thank you very much, and the Catalina team will be taking it from here, taking you through the unit.
Hi, my name is Matt Eppers. I'm the Midwest rep for Coachmen Catalina, and as we get into the walkthrough today, I do want to mention that equipment may vary depending on the product line you have. So today we are going to be filming on a Coachmen Catalina Legacy, and the floor plan's a 333 BHTS. But again, as you know, we go through this walkthrough, I do want to mention that equipment may vary depending on that floor plan. But here we are today, we're out at our campsite. It's exciting, we just pulled in, and the first thing we're gonna wanna do before we get this thing on the ground is to make sure it's level. And what we're gonna do today is basically take a level. I'm gonna put it right across the A-frame up front here, and that's gonna show us another common way that people do it is they may have the stick-on levels that they have right up front that you can purchase through your dealer. I also do wanna mention that all the equipment and tools that we use today can be purchased any of your Coachmen Catalina dealers, right? So we're gonna take this level, let's put it over the A-frame. We're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna see here today at the campsite, we're level now, right? And what we're looking at is the level from side to side, okay? And your level up and down, we're gonna run that off the power tongue jack. We'll show you how to do that in a second. What we're looking for here is to make sure that our trailer is level from side to side. Now we're fortunate today, we're on a pretty flat ground and we're already level, but what we're gonna do is mock up how to show you if we did have to level this side to side. What we're gonna do is use some chalks back here and some blocks on the ground, so we'll take a look at that now. Alrighty, so here we are back at the wheels. We're gonna show you basically how to level it. And again, this is from side to side level. So what we're gonna do is mock up and say that the non-door side is a little bit higher than the door side here. So we're gonna have to level this door side. But again, this applies to either side, and the way you're gonna dictate on which side you're gonna have to level, again, will be up front at the level that we put over the A-frame and that you already have on your unit. So what we're using today is some Camco blocks. We're gonna pull them out, very easy to use, stackable, number of different brands out there, doesn't matter, your Catalina can use any of them. What we're gonna do is kind of mock up a simulation of, we need to block this up one level of a 2x4, right? And real easy to do that. Basically, we're just gonna lay them on the ground right outside of the axles to see how many we need and how far we need to go. We're then gonna take these blocks, put them over the tire tracks, and then back up on it, and then we'll go check our level again. So let's get to that. All right, so now that we have our leveling blocks lined up outside of our tires, you notice I kept about 6 inches difference between the end of the blocks and the end of the tires. And the reason we're gonna do that is once we run back up on them, we don't wanna be short or have half our tire on a level and half a tire off. So now what I'm gonna do that I have these out, is I'm gonna take my trailer and get back in my truck. I'm gonna take my trailer and I'm gonna pull it forward, and I'm gonna move these blocks where the tire tracks were, and then simply back the trailer right up. So we'll show you how to do that right here. Alrighty, so now we got our friend, our truck driver Chad up there. You'll hear from him a little bit later. But what he's gonna do is pull the truck up. As he pulls the truck up, I'm gonna move these leveling blocks under. So Chad, go ahead, you can start moving her up a little bit. And right there is good. So you can see, pull the tires just ahead of the leveling blocks. Now simply all we're gonna do is take these, move them over the tire tracks that we just, our fresh tire tracks here. And now all we're gonna do is back up our trailer right back over our leveling blocks, and we should have a level trailer. So Chad, go ahead and back it up. Yep, keep coming back a little bit, and you're good. Alrighty, so what we see now is our tires are right here stuck in the middle of our leveling blocks. We can go back up to our level, check to make sure that our trailer from side to side is level, and we're good. If it's a little bit off, we may have to add blocks, we may have to remove blocks, we may have to add blocks to the other side, but you'll be able to see that up front from your level. Okay, but again, at a flat campground here, we're good, so we're gonna remove these and actually show you how to chalk your trailer now. Alrighty, so now that we made sure that the trailer is level from side to side, what we're gonna do is actually chalk the wheels. And again, since we're on level ground here, you notice we remove the blocks from under the tires. But there's a number of different ways that you can chalk a tire. These are very common, as well as kind of the scissors that you can toss between them. We're gonna show you both that process today. Okay, now I have 4 of them. What you're gonna wanna do, basically put one here in front of the front tire. put one in the back tire, kind of shove it in there. You can feel it stop and stick. You're gonna do that for, I guess, all 4 tires here on the Catalina. And again, on some of our Summits, you may only have 2 tires, so you only have to do one on each side, right? Depending on the number of axles in the trailer. Very simple, kind of easy to see. Now you can see it'll stop us from rocking and rolling. They're tight in there, they're good. All right, so after we show you how to use the yellow blocks, another common thing that a lot of campers use is the X-Chalk. This is another thing that can be found in any RV dealer or parts store. Very easy to use. All we're gonna do is place it between our 2 tires. And then we're gonna take a little wrench that comes with it. We're gonna tighten the bottom here until this X-Chalk is tight between both tires, and that'll stop us from being able to roll once we have our level finish. So now that the X-Chalk is tight, and what we can do to test that it's tight, give it one of these and see that it's not, loose, nothing's given. You can also take your wrench, probably give it an extra couple cranks down here at the bottom to make sure it's very tight on your trailers. And again, what that's gonna do is stop from rolling. Okay, so you have your X-Chalks or your blocks. You can use either one, whatever one you like, whatever one you prefer. Both will accomplish the same goal for you. So again, we're on a Legacy here. We do have a power tongue jack, but depending on your product, equipment may vary. First thing we're gonna do is drop the plate. It's gonna be a lot easier for us to get off the truck. It'll take a lot less time. All we're gonna do is come down here, pull the pin out. You're gonna notice that this drops. What I'm gonna do now is lower this. So I'm gonna raise it there a little bit. I'm gonna put my pin back in. Gonna lock that up, safe as possible. And now what I'm gonna do is raise up my power tongue jack off the ball of the truck. Okay, and this will take a little bit of time. You want to be gentle with it. You never want to force it. It'll come on its own. Not something we want to jump on or try and pull apart. Something that, a little patience, it'll come apart. So what I'm gonna do is pull up here, start lifting on my power tongue jack, and look at that, comes right back for us. I can start raising this up. What this is gonna do is take the trailer off the ball of the truck, and then we're gonna drive the truck forward a little bit. You can see that just released, kind of truck comes back. Now we're good. I'm gonna wanna raise this up until we're totally clear of the ball. That way when we take the truck forward, we're not bringing the truck back. So now that we're up over the ball, I do wanna notice that we're still chained up to the truck, and the reason we do that, in case it's rolling either way, we're still connected to the truck. It's not a runaway trailer, right? And I do wanna talk about the power tongue jack real quick and how we powered that. So I'm not connected to shore power. We'll talk about that in a second. But what we are doing is connected to the truck. Another way that we can use it is if we also had a battery up front, we can also run the power tongue jack off of that. Okay, but now that we're up, what we're gonna try and do is check our level again, make sure we're even north to south. But first, we're gonna remove the power from the truck and also remove the chains from the truck. We're gonna free the trailer from the truck, move the truck forward, and then we'll level it up and down. So now the chains are removed, power's unplugged. What we're gonna do is take the truck, move it forward, release it from the trailer. Alrighty, so now that we've removed the trailer from the truck, what we're gonna do is come back to the door, and now we're gonna take a look at leveling this thing basically from front to back, right? And the way we're gonna do that, we're gonna grab our handy dandy level. I like placing it right here, right inside the door. We're gonna get that on the floor, and then we're gonna take a look at our level to see if we are, level or not. Depending on which way we're down, we'll go back up front to our power tongue jack again on our Legacy. On your Summit, you may have a manual crank jack, but either way, what we're gonna do, look at this level, figure out which way we need to go, and then head up front and use our jack to level the trailer. So let's show you how to do that real quick. Alrighty, so now that we've checked our level, we know that, hey, we need to go either up or down. What we're gonna do is come back to our power tongue jack, and again, mentioning that we're not connected to the truck, we're either gonna be running this off our battery power, off our shore power, which we'll get to in a second. What we're gonna do, depending on which way the level reads, we're either gonna go up on that power tongue jack or down. Again, real easy to do. Again, on some of our product lines, you may be using a manual crank. Same process, just without the power tongue jack. We're gonna mess with this, go back, read our level until we get it that it's perfectly level. Now we have it side to side, front to back level, ready to start jacking it and really set this thing up. So let's show you that process now. Alrighty, so now that we're getting ready to use our stab jacks, and I can't stress enough that these are only used to stab or stabilize your unit, not to level it, right? So we don't wanna put too much weight on these. You can end up bending your stab jacks. It's not good for your trailer. What we're gonna show is 2 different ways to do it. You have your manual crank. This will come standard in all Catalina products. It's a 3/4 inch bit. Basically, all we're gonna do is plug it on the end there. Then we're gonna start bringing it down. Now there is an easier trick, and that's what we got here. We got a cordless electric drill with a 3/4 inch bit. We're gonna take that, lock it into place there. and then basically what we're gonna do is bring it down. Now I will say one thing you notice is that we did bring our blocks back. You're always gonna wanna make sure to block your stab jacks, especially, here you can kind of see we have some nice hard ground, but if you're camping on grass, something that can absorb into that grass, so we always wanna make sure we block these. We'll show you up front and out back. Okay, so now that I'm down and secure, we still recommend that you take your manual crank and you're gonna wanna go around one full spin. Just one, not two. You don't wanna lock it up too tight. Put that guy on there. We're gonna go all the way around once, and now we know we're good. We're stabilized, we're locked in. We're gonna do that on all four corners of the trailer. And out back, we're a little bit higher off the ground, so we'll show you how to do that if you have to use more than just one block. Alrighty, so now we're at the rear of the trailer. We still got our blocks. I'm gonna use my cordless drill with my 3/4 inch bit. Put that back on there, drop it down. I'm gonna wanna center my blocks right under this so it's not leaning off at all. We're gonna wanna make sure that whole thing's on there. Gonna get it tight. And then again, we're gonna go around just one turn on our manual crank. Make sure we really got it tightened up. And there we go. We're gonna do that on all four corners. Now we know our trailer's good, it's secure, it's not gonna be rolling off on us. Let's head to the back side, show you how to hook up your power and your water. Alrighty, so now we're gonna connect our power. Again, we're in a Catalina Legacy 333 BHTS. This is a 50 amp unit. Luckily here at our campsite, we do have a 50 amp connection that you can see. We have our breakers. They're all labeled 20, 30, and 50. Now, I do want to talk about real quick before I plug this in. If you do run into a campsite where we have a 50 amp unit, but only 30 amp service, one thing you can do is an adapter from 50 down to 30, right? Real easy, again, stocked at any RV store or parts store, RV dealership. All we're gonna do, if you do need to adapt, gonna connect the sides in. Then basically you're gonna plug that into your 30. You can even take this 30 down to a 110. All it is another adapter. Again, very common in starter kits. Something that you can find in any RV parts store or dealership. But again, here we're in luck. We do have 50 amp service, so we're gonna pull that apart. Gonna open this guy up, plug her in, flip our breaker up or on. Then we're gonna come back here to the rear of the trailer, actually plug it in, and we will get power. Alrighty, so we plugged into our 50 amp. Now we're gonna take this, we're gonna plug it into our unit here. Notice we got the little metal piece here. We're gonna match that up on the inside of our connect port here. That's how we know we're gonna get a good fit. We're gonna plug it in, then we're gonna turn it straight, and then we're gonna take our black kind of secure, screw that in. That way this isn't falling out. Kids run by, they can't pull it out, any of that stuff. Now I do wanna point out here, again, this is a 50 amp unit, but if we were restricted to a 30 amp site where we had to adapt down to a 30 amp, some equipment on your trailer may not get power. For instance, this unit has 2 ACs, that's why it's 50 amp. If we're at a 30 amp site, you'd only be able to run 1 AC, not 2. With a 50 amp full site like we have now, we will be able to run both. Now let's take a look, now that we have power, let's take a look at filling up our water, getting our water tanks full. Alrighty, so now we got our unit plugged in. As we can see, we're leveled, we're good to go. We're gonna talk about our water. Here's our water here at the campsite, is our freshwater connect, right? Now there's a number of different things that we're gonna do here. We're gonna show you how to connect to your city water. We'll also show you how to connect, let's say you're boondocking and you need to fill your freshwater tanks, we'll show you how to do that too. But it all starts with the water or pressure regulator. Basically what we want to make sure is that we're not blowing any of the lines depending on the campsite. We want to make sure that the pressure of this water matches what we have in our unit. Again, this is something you can find at any RV dealer, any RV parts store. Pretty simple. We're just going to screw it into the end of our hose here. Once that's nice, tight, and secure, we're going to screw that here to the end of our freshwater connect. Alrighty, so we're secure here. We're gonna go over to the trailer. First, we're gonna show you how to use your city water connection. Then second, we'll show you if you're boondocking, don't have that city water connection, don't have it at your campsite, we'll show you how to fill up your freshwater tank. Alrighty, so on our 333 BHTS, it's nice, everything's right here, and we can see our city water connection is gonna be white. On all Catalina products, it's gonna be marked white for you. That way there's no confusion if we're hooking up early morning, late at night, don't have the sunlight, we can still easily tell which one we're hooking up to. I will say, depending on the floor plan, this may be located in different spots. It's all floor plan dependent. Luckily here, it's non-door side for us. So what we're gonna do is take our hose, we're gonna screw it in, real nice and easy. We actually don't have to screw the hose, that way we don't kink it with the water. Alrighty, so our hose is now tight. It's connected in there. I can tug on it a little bit. We can see it's not going anywhere. We have full connection. Now to fill that up, all we gotta do is turn on our city water. We can go inside, test the faucets, see if they're all gonna work. That's how you connect your water supply for your city water tank. Alrighty, so now we're back in our freshwater connect. Again, we can see that's marked nicely on the back side of our trailer. What we're gonna do is wanna open this guy up. And one thing we can notice here is that if I took the hose and put it here, it fits, but water's probably gonna spray out. So what we recommend doing is getting basically an adapter that you can screw on to the end of your hose as you fill up your freshwater tank. Again, something that can be found in any RV parts store or your dealer. We're gonna screw this on. Make sure it's tight. You also notice you have a nozzle here, which is nice, so we can turn off or shut on, or turn on or shut off the water. What we're gonna do is place this in here. We're gonna turn our water on. Then we're gonna fill this guy up. On the inside, we'll have a tank reader where we can read how full we're getting. Same with your gray and your black tank, right? But you're not actually gonna fill those up outside. You're gonna have your fresh water, you're gonna have your City Connect, and as you use that water, that'll then fill your gray water, and as you use your toilet, that'll fill your black water. Alrighty, so we're blocked, we're leveled, we got our power in, we got our water supply. Last thing we need to do before we get inside is we're gonna hook up our propane, right? Now, every Catalina you have, minus our Summit 7, is gonna come with a bottle cover. I'm actually gonna remove this. That way we can get a little better look at what we got going on here. So as we follow all local laws and regulations, we do know we need to disconnect our propane as we travel, okay? But what we're gonna do now to hook this up, very easy to use. We got our propane bottle. We got dual 20s up here. You can also option in 30s. Again, equipment may vary depending on your product. We're gonna tighten this guy up. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little monitor up here. We can see it's facing from the away bottle. We can also see it's red. We're gonna flip that over to our bottle here that we just plugged in. Still red. What I'm gonna do is turn on our propane up top, loosen up that bottle a little bit. We can immediately see it flicks to green. What that's indicating to you is that, hey, we see propane, the system realizes we now have propane going through the system. We're gonna open that up. We're now gonna be able to use our oven, we're gonna be able to use our stove, we're also gonna be able to use our furnace and water heater if need be. Now, if this bottle runs out of gas, what's gonna happen? We're gonna go red. All we gotta do is flip it back over to the other bottle and start running there. One thing I like to do here is also to put our cover back on once we have got our propane. What that's going to do is protect your bottles from any water, any bugs, any of that good stuff. Just keep them clean and protected for you. Okay, so now that we got all that, we're leveled, we're chalked, we got power, we got water, we got propane. I'm going to kick you over to Chad Yoder, my compadre there. He's going to finish the setup for you.
Hi, I'm Chad Yoder. I'm with Coachmen Catalina Travel Trailers. I cover our West Coast. I'm going to go through a few more steps here on this Catalina Legacy Edition that Matt just got set up for us. So we're going to start with just a couple of basics. Getting in our entry door, our steps, we're going to have a couple different kinds. You'll notice on your Catalinas that you no longer have a holdback. This door has friction hinges on it, so there's going to be resistance and you don't have to lock the door back. The two different types of steps we could have, we come standard with fold-out steps on several floor plans. This is actually our upgraded optional solid steps from Lippert. So they close up in the doorway, they're out of the way, it's nice and convenient. To take them down, you're just going to move the handle over, release it, it's going to swing down. If for any reason the surface that you're on is still unlevel at the entry door, there are two small pins on either side that you can adjust the length of the legs to make sure that the stairs are even. Now we're going to take a step inside. We're going to look at our actual central monitor panel and control panel so we can open up our awnings and open up our slides. Now that we've stepped inside, I'm going to actually give you a quick rundown. We actually have a central monitor panel here, so it's going to keep most of your controls all located together. So we are going to have switches here for each of the slide outs that we have in this trailer, as well as our awning switch to run the awning out. We have an interior light switch, exterior light switch, your switch for your water pump, and for your hot water heater to turn on. This will be by the gas. It's a direct start ignition. We also have several buttons here that are going to give you a reading on your tank levels, also your battery levels. So as you push those, it'll light up across whether your tank is empty, a third full, 2/3 full, or completely full. Same with the batteries. Now I'm actually going to run the slide out. We've got one on the front side here and two on the back. When this gets all the way out, you will hear it click. That does mean that it's fully extended. Now that we have our slides out, I do want to note quickly on two different factors. One, we have two different types of slide outs. Generally, we use what's called a rack and pinion. It's an electric through the frame slide mechanism. The other would be what's called a Schwintek. It's used in functions where, like this, we have it above the floor level. Both of them, great slide out mechanisms. I do want to point out, if in the very rare chance you would ever need to manually override one of these slides, the first thing that you want to do is make sure on a rack and pinion slide, you disconnect the battery from the trailer. Otherwise, it could backfeed when you manually crank it. But to show you where you would actually just use the manual crank handle, 3/4 inch socket, or if you had a ratchet or something, you can come underneath. We actually, in the side of the skirt, make a access hole right here. You'll see there's about 1.5 inch hole with a grommet. You can reach directly through there, and there is a nut that you put this on, and you can manually override the slide if you had to run it in or out for any reason. On the Schwintek slides, which we do use on a couple of floor plans for a kitchen slide, these actually are going to have a motor that runs down either side in the wall if you ever needed to override this. There's going to be two different methods. One I'm going to show you in just a moment that actually has to do with the control board for it inside. The other would actually be physically pushing this in if you had to. Just at the top of the bulb seal, if you had to get this slide in, very rare circumstance, you could pull the bulb seal down. There is a screw in there. You want to remove that screw. You would reach right inside the corner, lift up, you'll feel the motor, and then you can actually just push this in by hand. You would do that on both sides. It is easy to actually use Lippert's instruction manuals on their slides. Both mechanisms that we use are from them. They actually have an app called My LCI. It has all kinds of tech support, videos, kind of brainstorming, troubleshooting guides if you ever did get into a situation that you needed those. Now I am going to show you the second part if you ever needed to override or make an adjustment to the Schwintek type slide. We do actually, located right here inside of this cabinet, have easy access to this control board. It actually has several different error codes that you could pull on it, reset it, run things in. It's all actually has the instructions right on it, what you would need to do if that case ever arose. All right, now we're gonna go on ahead. We're gonna get the awnings ran out. Everything that we build is going to be a power awning. So it is gonna be right off the push button there on that control panel that we were talking about. Actually, Troy here is helping us, giving us a hand running these awnings out at the moment. I'm gonna go over a couple of things on them here. We do have a power channel on these this year, which is really cool. I'm going to show you how an accessory goes on here. It's kind of a spotlight. There's several other accessories that we can add to these. Then I'm going to show you how to adjust the awning pitch if you need to, and a quick note on if you ever had to override it manually on your awnings. So this is the power rail. It does work on 12 volt. This is on all, it's through Dometic. It's on all of our awnings right now at Catalina. You are going to get a spotlight. It's going to be in a box like this. You are getting your first accessory with this trailer. There are more accessories available. You can actually go to Dometic.com and look at their awning accessories. They'll have several there, and they'll also show you how you can locate where you can get more of them. So there are two little tabs here on the back of this. We are going to make a connection inside this rail with them. We're just going to pull this lever back. We're going to turn this. It's locking in place. This will slide up or down if you need it to. There is a little adjustment screw here that you can loosen this, tighten this. We have a blue light on, shows that we do have live power to this. This will work even just with batteries on your trailer. Push the light in once, you have a bright directional lighting outside. That's how all of the accessories will work. To turn it off, you would hold this in for about 5 seconds or 3. Turns off. To take it back off, you would turn it this way. You can have multiple accessories on here. This particular floor plan, because we have 2 awnings on here, We also have 2 power rails. One of the other features that your awning is going to have is you can adjust the arms on both sides, either side, both awnings. There's a small tightener here. You just loosen this up and you can pull anywhere that you need this to be set, and then you retighten and it will hold the awning in that position. So in this case, if we wanted to, depending on whether it was wind or we wanted to add shade or we were diverting rainwater one direction, would be different scenarios that will make sense how you can adjust this. It's very simple and easy. I do recommend you loosen them back up and fully extend them before putting the awning back in. All you have to do is loosen it up. It's going to spring back up on its own. As I mentioned, there is a manual override on your Dometic awnings. I want to show you that real quick. It is extremely rare that that would be necessary, but just so you're aware of where it'd be located and how you would use it. So I'm going to bring this awning arm down here. The corner of the awning is going to have a little push button piece here. You would push that in, these 2 halves will pop apart. You'll have a little black nut right here, you'll take it off, and there is a 3/8 hex head bolt there that will stay in place. You turn that bolt and it will actually roll your awning in or out. For manual override on a power awning. One of the major appliances that you're going to have on your trailer that is going to be a part of your every use is your hot water heater. So I actually really want to cover some of this because there's some really important factors in both how you're filling it when you're using it and a little maintenance on it. So we're actually just going to turn the little lever there, the door drops down. This is a Suburban water heater. It's 6-gallon tank on it. It's both gas and electric, and then the DSI that I mentioned earlier was a switch that's actually direct spark ignition. So that way there's nothing that you need a light like a pilot light. It's going to automatically do that right when you flip that switch inside. The first thing to note when you're going to fill your hot water heater, you need to make sure that the gas is not on to it or the electric switch is not on, because you can actually burn the heating element up in your hot water heater if you had that turned on prior to having water in it, or if you left it on after we empty it, and we'll mention that here in just a moment. So I'm actually going to show you the components in here and show you what you need to do to fill this. A few of the components that you're going to have on your water heater: we do have a pressure relief valve right here. We actually have reset buttons right here. That would be for the electric side. If for any reason it was not working on electric, I would first come in and pop those resets. We are going to have a switch right down here. This is an on-off switch. That is for operating the electric on this. And then here is also going to be where our drain is, as well as the anode rod that's going to be attached to that. So, important factor first, we've checked, we make sure that this is off. We're going to go inside. We're going to open up the kitchen faucets at the hot. We have our city water connection turned on. That's going to pump water in through the system. Now this should be filling. When we go inside and look in the kitchen, once the water is flowing through the faucet, we know that we've filled this completely. Another method, you can actually open this a little bit when it's filling. That'll help the air actually escape from the tank so that it can fill completely up. Once we know that our water heater is completely full, now we can go on ahead. One of 2 methods, or together, we can flip our switch to on to apply electric power to start heating the water. We also have the switch on the monitor panel that I covered. That's going to be your gas portion of the water heater. You flip that on. If you run the 2 of them together, which you can at any point, you'll actually get the quick recovery out of the water heater where you can get 16.2 gallons of hot water per hour. With the anode rod in every hot water heater, it's actually meant to deteriorate. It is a part that's it's a standard part of your general maintenance on your trailer. The anode rod absorbs and is broke down by the minerals in the water, and it actually protects that from actually breaking down the tank lining inside of your hot water tank. This is where you would drain this. I do recommend draining this and not leaving water in the tank if it's going to be very long. It'll actually make a very foul odor if it stays in there a long time. This is actually an 1 16" socket. Would actually remove this. The anode rod is going to be attached to that. That anode rod, I would try to check it annually. They recommend, anytime by the time it's 75% deteriorated, you do want to replace it. It's available at all of your RV dealerships, parts stores, and that's a part of a common annual maintenance is check your anode rod on this. One of the last things I want to cover on the water heater is if you are draining it or when you are draining it, two things you want to make sure. One, you want to make sure that the pressure is relieved from it. So at this point, I would actually want that water to cool off. Since it's been turned off, that's going to reduce the pressure. Also, before ever pulling the plug to drain it, you are going to want to make sure your faucets are back open, your water pressure is turned off. If you are using water from your fresh tank, then you'll also want to make sure that your water pump is turned off, which is actually the only time that it's necessary to use the water pump is when you're pulling from the fresh tank. Otherwise, you actually don't want both of them running in conjunction. At that point, you pull the relief valve, you'll get some spray, a little bit of water is going to come out. You'll know that you have all the pressure off of the tank prior to pulling the drain. Depending on the model that you have of your Catalina, you may have our outside utility shower. It's going to be great for cleaning up messes outside. It actually is opened with the CH751, a baggage door key. We do have our hot here, cold water here. We can go on ahead and extend the hose out. Works great. You have good reach for cleaning up messes out here. We do have a holder here. This does slip right in, lock in place if you need it here, hands-free washing. There is also a quick shut off on there versus resetting your water here. This trailer is actually equipped with our full-size camp kitchen. Yours may have a smaller pull-out camp kitchen. We can hit some notes on that as well as it may not, depending on floor plan. So we're gonna go on ahead and get this opened up, get ready to start using the outside of our area for camping. You should have a key. It's going to look similar to this. It's gonna be black. I'm not sure what the key number would be on it, but this is going to be your full-size camp kitchen key to unlock this. Now that we get this opened up, light on our full-size camp kitchens, your sink is going to be plumbed to a separate gray tank. So on the monitor panel, it actually listed is gray 2. It's a galley tank, independent from your gray tank for your kitchen and shower up front. We have your refrigerator in here, standards 3.2 cubic foot. It plugs in up top. Your drawers are actually going to have a catch on the bottom here. It's kind of a travel latch, locks them in place from moving. Bottle opener in here. And then you do have this Coleman camp stove. It's pretty simple on opening up. It's going to lock in place. We are going to use the little green 1 pound propane cylinders to operate this. It's kind of a nice method. This is a high output, so it does actually run better getting to use on these.
All right, hello, my name is Jordan Short and I'm here with Coachmen Catalina. I'm a sales trainee and I'm gonna grab the reins from Chad Yoder on the outside and show you some of the interior how-tos. We're gonna start here with our 3-burner range and our flush glass mount. What we're gonna start by is folding this back, getting the glass mount away from the burners. And I'm gonna show you how to light each of these burners. That way we can bleed the air out of the system. We're gonna start here with our first burner and we're gonna rotate clockwise. Same here with the second and the third. Just keep clicking until it comes on. And what we wanna do is we wanna let this run. That way we're bleeding out any extra air in the lines. So when we go to our refrigerator and our water heater on gas, we're not gonna have any hiccups. So now that we moved away from the burners, I'm gonna show you how you get your pilot light lit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this on to light, and then we're also, same thing, rotate clockwise. And once we get the flame going, we wanna hold it for about another 5 seconds so we keep a steady flame. And once we've got our steady flame going, I'm gonna rotate this on high. So we'll have a full flame here for about another 15 seconds. And why we want to keep it going for about another 15 seconds is to bleed any of that remaining air out of our lines. Now I'm going to rotate it back to our desired cooking temperature. So now that we made our way to the bathroom, I'm going to show you how we operate our foot flush toilet. We're going to put our foot down about halfway and you'll see the water start to fill up. This line here is what we like to call our fill line. We're going to fill that up to the fill line about 4 times So we're going to repeat this process another 3. Now on the 4th time, since I've already done this 3 times off camera, we're going to take our chemical packet here and we're going to drop it in. And then we're going to flush it down. So now that we have a baseline of water in there, our chemicals can begin working. And remember, always use RV grade toilet paper. We don't want to use anything else down the toilet. And 2 other points, in all of our Catalinas, we're going to have our towel racks and our toilet paper holders delivered in the kitchen drawer. That way, location can be your decision. All right, from here I'm going to move over to the shower. And all of our Catalinas will come with a hot-cold handle. You'll also see in our shower head we have an on-off position. So I'm going to turn our hot water on, and you'll see I can control the water here. Turn it on, and we can run our water, and we can pause it again. Now if we're dry camping, we want to limit our gray tanks, or we're just trying to be eco-friendly, we can control our water usage. All right, so continue from the bathroom. If you find yourself in a scenario without 110 power, first thing we want to do is check our microwave. If we do have power to our microwave, then we know we have a problem with our 110 outlet. So what we're going to do is we're going to return to our bathroom where you'll usually find your GFI outlet. There's a reset button. That should be lit up red. We're going to reset that button and that should restore power to your 110 outlets. Now continuing from the microwave, we're going to come back here to our breaker box. Simply push this in to reveal all of our 110 and our 12 volt breakers. Now if you don't have power to your microwave, all these are clearly marked to what they operate. So simply flip it over to restore power. Here to the right, we're going to find our fuse box. Now if you see, we have a red light shining here. That means we've blown a fuse or it's a bad fuse. And as you'll see, we don't have any lights here in this room. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the corresponding fuse to the light and we're going to replace it with a new same size fuse. And let there be light. The last how-to I want to hit on here before we move is our egress window. Now, I want to prepare you in case you do need to remove this window. So what we're going to do is you're going to take this red latch here and you're going to yank it out to remove the screen. Next step, you're going to remove the safety handle. You're going to rotate it forward and you're going to push straight. You'll see it latches in here. To continue moving the window out, simply push forward and it rotates up on its hinges.
Hey everybody, I'm Taylor Short with Coachmen Catalina, and today I'm going to touch on a few of your appliances and equipment on the inside and how they work. The first thing I'm going to touch on is going to be your standard TV on your legacy models, your stereo, and your DVD player. So all your equipment's going to actually come in your Coachmen bag, like your remote for your TV, your DVD player, and all your cords. So once you get your battery and your remote, you're going to actually turn your TV on. So you can actually see now that we have channels on our TV. I've already pre-done this to save some time for you guys, but what you're going to do to actually get the channels on your TV is you're going to hit input. You're going to scroll over until you find channel setup and channel scan. You're going to go down and hit scan. It usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes, so I've actually already pre-done it, and that's why you already see the TV going. Now, since we're not hooked up to the cable at your campsite, what you're going to have to do is, before you do that, you actually have to hit the antenna boost right here on the side. What that's going to do is help you draw these channels in. Now, if you hooked up at your campsite with your cable, you won't have to do that. So now that we have our TV hooked up and we can hear the sound coming out of it, we can sit down and we can relax. But say it's a NFL football Sunday and you want to watch the Buffalo Bills win a game and your neighbor beside you is an Indianapolis Colts fan and you just want to rub it in. Well, you can actually take the sounds coming out of your TV. We'll be able to use it coming out of our upgraded in-wall speakers and our outdoor marine grade speakers. So now that we've changed to the aux setting, we can now hear it coming out of our speakers, which will play inside, and you can actually hear it outside. What else you can use is you're gonna have a stereo, a DVD player down here, AM and FM. You also have Bluetooth, which all you have to do is go to your Bluetooth settings on your app, find Furion. Your passcode for that is going to be 0000. You're also going to have an auxiliary spot as well, and a USB port as well. Other neat things that you can do with your stereo is you're gonna have different zones as well. So say if I wanted to listen to music on the inside as everything quiet at night on the outside, you can do that. Or you can just listen to your outside speakers and have everything else quiet in here as well too. Like I mentioned earlier, this head unit actually does have a DVD player in it. You're gonna find also in your Coachmen bag an HDMI cord. What this is gonna do is you're gonna hook up to the back of your TV, and there's actually gonna be a spot up here on the side wall. What this does is, it is a head plate where it's gonna run down to your head unit to where you can watch your DVD, say if it's on a rainy day and everyone's stuck inside, or you're camping in the mountains and you're unable to get any channels, you can still watch something on TV. All right, the next piece of equipment that we're actually gonna go over in your Catalina is gonna be your water heater bypass. So what your water heater bypass is actually gonna do for you is, when you're done camping for the season, you need to winterize your unit. You don't want that antifreeze going through your hot water heater. So you're gonna pop down here and we're gonna show how you can turn your valves to close off your hot water heater. So hit the name, it bypasses it and runs through the rest of your system. Now, when you're locating your hot water heater, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. You can either go on the outside and find and see where your vent's at, and you can locate it from the inside. Or Catalina has done a great job with the floor plans on our website of showing where your water pump is and where your water heater is. So once you've located where your hot water heater is, all you have to do is you're gonna pop off the panel. All it's held into is by 2 screws. You're gonna hop down there, and there's gonna be 2 valves that you will shut off. So right now they're actually in the off position. How do you know it's in the off position? They're actually going parallel with your plumbing lines. To turn them on, you wanna turn them towards your hot water intake, hot water heater. All right, the next appliance that I'm gonna touch base on in the Coachmen Catalina is gonna be our 12 volt, 10 cubic Freon refrigerator. This is going to be an option for us as opposed to our standard 7 cubic gas and electric refrigerator. So how this works, since it is 12 volt, it is going to be running off your front battery. So we do get questions all the time of, can you run it going down the road? Can you run it when you're boondocking? Yes, you are running off your front battery. Now, if you are boondocking, you do want to conserve a little bit of energy since you're not plugged in. One quick way to do that actually is on your temperature settings, you're actually going to be able to turn it all the way over, and there's going to be an off-grid mode that's going to help you conserve power while you're running your refrigerator. Now, also remember, when you first open up your camper and you go to open up your fridge and turn it on, what you're going to actually have to do is turn on this power switch on the side. We actually give you a battery kill switch, since it does run off your front battery, to turn it on and off. So now that we just turned it on, we can open it all up, and when you first get out there camping for the weekend, what you're gonna wanna do is actually turn this to the max setting for about an hour to 2 hours to cool your fridge down, and then you can turn the temperature down. Now, a couple other features that it does have with it, which is neat, is when you are done camping for the weekend, of course you're gonna wanna turn it back off again so your battery isn't drained when you come back out. You actually will have this piece. What is neat about this piece is it clips right in here. So what this clip's gonna actually do is gonna be moisture control and ventilation. All right, the next appliance that we're gonna touch base on is gonna be our standard 7 cubic gas and electric Norcold refrigerator. So as you see on this one, as opposed to a few different fridges out there, this is actually only going to have one button. With this button, it is going to be your power button to turn it on and off. Now, if you can see closely here, it has a green light right now. What that green light means is it is running on electricity. If you have an amber light, that means it's running on gas. If you have a blinking light, it means it's not running on either, and it cannot connect to either. So whether you're not plugged in or your LP tanks are not open. Another great feature about the Catalina standard Norcold refrigerator is we actually give you reversible reefer inserts. Very easy to operate. You pull this piece right off and this slides right out. So what this does is it gives you another option to change your paneling on your reefer. So it's very easy to operate. You just slide it right in and then you're actually able to clip this right back on. Very simple. Now, since we only have one button on this, how do we change the temperature on this? If we want to make it colder or if we want to make it warmer. So in the back of the refrigerator, there's going to be a metal clip. With this metal clip, you can either move it left for colder, or you can pull this clip out and move it right to make it warmer. All right guys, another feature that we're going to touch on the inside is actually going to be our optional fireplace. So real quick to touch on the optional fireplace, we are going to give you a remote with it that's going to be in your Coachmen bag. Also, a couple of different settings that you can use on it. Your far right setting will always be your power button. Your far left one will actually be your temperature. And you can set this to whatever temperature you want, and you can do this by using your remote. You can also change the accent lighting. So say if you didn't want to, it was a warm day and you just wanted some accent lighting on here, you could do that. The next appliances that I'm going to touch on is going to be your AC and your furnace. So first one I'm going to do is going to be your AC. Now that they've already hooked us up to shore power, we have enough power to run our AC. As you saw earlier in the video, Matt gave us 50 amp service. If we didn't have 50 amp service, we wouldn't be able to run both the ACs in this unit. So if it was down to 30, we'd only be able to run one. So the way this AC unit is actually going to work is very simple. You can see right on here, the control panel is you'll have cool all the way to your left, and then you can either turn your fan on auto, high or low, or the on, high or low. And as you can hear, the AC in the living room, it is now running. Now do keep in mind, your second AC is always going to have a separate control panel with it, whether it's in your bunk room or it's in your bedroom. The second one I want to touch on is going to be your furnace. Now, if you want to switch over to your furnace, it's very simple. You can see the heat all the way to your right, and then you can actually turn your fan again on auto or on. Now, to run your furnace, as you saw earlier, Matt did open up your LP tanks. You will need your gas to run that, as well as your 12 volt to run your fan for it. Now, please expect once you do turn on your furnace the first time, you will have a little bit of burn off when you first turn it on. Now that we've turned our AC on and you've kind of seen how the control panel works of your furnace and your AC, a couple of neat features with your AC is you are actually able to do a direct dump with it. So instead of it coming out through all your ducts in your camper, when you first get to your campsite, you've been traveling all day, it's been warm, what you're going to want to do is actually utilize this direct dump. It's going to help cool your camper a little bit quicker. You also are going to have on both your ACs are filters that you will have to change out. So what you're going to do to access that is pull down right here, and then these will easily slide out. Now you can either replace them by getting new ones, or you can just clean these off. Now, last thing that I want to touch base on with your AC is sometimes you will have condensation on your roof that will be running off the side of your unit. That is typically normal on a hot, warm day and you're using your AC.
Hi folks, I'm Troy Maples with Coachmen Catalina. Now that your weekend's over and you're getting ready to put everything away, we're just going to go over a few tips and tricks and general maintenance around the campground area and on your unit as well. First things first, what you're going to want to do is after you get all your belongings put away and stowed for towing, you're going to want to come out here after your slide outs are closed, the awnings are closed, and disconnect your power source. So like we were talking about before, it's real simple. One thing you're going to want to remember though is after you disconnect your cord, you should have all your power off on the inside here anyway. Just remember to pop your breaker back down so it's all set for the next person. As you're getting ready to pack up, one very important tip to remember on any unit that's equipped with a slide out is to make sure that beforehand you get up on a folding step ladder of some sort and you're able to take a broom and just kind of quickly go over the top of your slide out. You'll want to do this on both sides of the slide out, just to make sure that there's no branches, leaves, or anything like that that could create a gap in the seal up top or along the edges. All right, very important to remember this because your seals will not work properly if they are not completely shut. So a lot of times we'll have folks with branches, leaves, or any matter of debris that gets up there. So you want to make sure, again, just get a small little step stool or something in your broom and just clear off the top and make sure it's cleared off before closing the slide outs. So for our walkthrough here, we had us connected to the city water fill up here. So you're gonna wanna remember to remove your city water hose. Now keep this readily accessible just in case you need it at the dumping station. So we're gonna go through your gray tank and your black tank evacuation here shortly. So what you're gonna wanna remember is that obviously have the water turned off before you're doing this. It will also help relieve the pressure if you leave one of the sinks slightly open there so that you can just easily disconnect your water hose. And again, keep this stored in an easy place because you may need it at your dumping station. So we've disconnected your shore power, we've also disconnected your water. Now one of the things you're gonna notice, we did leave a few things open here just so we could touch base with the fact that whether you're running on battery or you're hooked up to your vehicle, you still have the option to be able to get things in. This is helpful in case you need to store things inside as you're cleaning up, or if dad's working on the shore power and water connection and mom's still picking up the camping area of the trailer. So we can still close everything up. We are connected to the vehicle here. I'm gonna run in, close up the awnings, and close up the slide out. One of the last things you're gonna wanna do is lift up all your stabilizer gear. Now you're still gonna wanna leave your wheel chocks in so that when we're hooking up the truck, the trailer's not gonna have any rocking motion. It's not gonna make anything difficult there. Grab your cordless power drill and bring it all the way up. We also wanna give you some general maintenance tips. One of the things that you're gonna wanna make sure you do is check your seals. So along your windows, baggage doors, as well as down the sides of your slide out seals, you're gonna have caulk or silicone that you're gonna wanna check and make sure that you're filling in any of those gaps if you do see gapping. You can do this on a regular basis. We recommend you do it at least twice a year. Another general maintenance item that we highly recommend doing at least twice a year would be getting up on top of your roof, checking the self-leveling sealant, again, for any gaps or voids in the sealant, checking the membrane itself, making sure there's no tears or cuts in that membrane, and as well as keeping it clean and applying a protectant that you can on the top. Ask your local dealer about what good cleaning supplies and protectants are for each of your units out there. Another maintenance item is going to be checking your slide out seals here. You want to make sure that these seals are staying nice and rubbery and they're malleable for you. You don't want them to get dry and cracking or anything like that. Talk to your local dealer about the best lubricants to be able to use for your slide out seals. Another general maintenance item that you want to keep track of is your tire pressure. Now, depending on what kind of tires you have, you can always find the tire pressure on the tire itself. It will be written on there. In this case, the high sense tires that we're using on current models is 80 PSI. Again, always double check that just in case you put different tires on, but you want to check your tire pressure. This is a great practice before and after you leave the campground, because the last thing you want to be doing is traveling down the road and not have enough tire pressure in your camper tires. The last item is going to be re-hitching your truck to the trailer. Again, you're going to want to make sure that you're leaving your chocks in place there. It's just going to help make sure that the trailer is stable and not going anywhere. So what you're going to want to do is adjust your tongue to make sure that it's already above the ball. You can bring your truck back as far as needed to make sure that you're already lined up. Plug it into the truck so that you have power for a power tongue jack. If it's a manual crank, you want to still manually crank it up. Bringing the truck back makes sense because you can kind of see where that ball level is located. So Chad's going to help me out here. Bring it back a little bit, Chad. Now, it doesn't need to be exactly lined up because this will fall down on there. But if you find yourself getting your ball in place and your locking mechanism won't go forward, what you can do is still keep it on the ball and just pull the truck forward a little bit. Stop. And you'll be able to see that now you can get this on and the locking mechanism will lock up. Now, if you have an adjustable foot on your power tongue jack, you want to make sure that you're adjusting that all the way to the top. Now again, you want to bring that jack as high up as it'll go. If it's a power tongue jack, just run it up till it stops. Manual, just keep cranking it until you can't crank it anymore. Now this is a great time to be able to double check your LP and make sure that your LP connections are off. Give them one good little twist. You can even check your LP connection. Make sure it's showing red in here because it is not legal to tow a unit down the road with LP running. And then this is your breakaway cord. What you're going to want to have is a hook of some sort or carabiner that you're also going to connect on here. The breakaway cable is important because if for whatever reason the trailer separates from the truck, this breakaway cable will pull and release the anti-lock brakes on the brakes of the trailer to help stop it from going down the road. Once you have the trailer safely and securely attached to your truck again, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you don't forget your wheel chocks. Take your chocks out, put them in your pass-through storage, put them back in your truck.
Now we're gonna head over to the dump station where we're gonna show you how to clean out your gray tank, your black tank, and an awesome standard feature available on all Catalinas, the black tank flush. Now we've pulled up to the dump station, you're ready to clean out your black and gray tanks. One attachment we highly recommend is this clear extension attachment that you can put on first before your hose. You just wanna twist it in place and make sure that the little knobs align and lock in place there. Then you're gonna take your hose and twist that onto the attachment. The clear attachment will let us know when everything's starting to run clear through your plumbing system. Then you're gonna come over and you wanna make sure different hoses can be angled like this. Other attachments will have it without. We've got the angled attachment on here. So you just wanna make sure that you've got that securely placed. One thing you're gonna wanna remember is make sure that your black and gray tanks are both 2/3 full before you do this. If that means before you unhook and you have to put more fresh water down into the gray tanks or black tanks by filling and releasing, then do that. 2/3 full is recommended because it'll help create a rush that will help evacuate everything out of both those tanks. It's highly recommended that you test your hose line first. So I'm gonna release a little bit of the gray water, make sure that everything comes out, there's no leaks or anything like that with my attachments or with the hose itself. It's very easy to shut that off, so I released a little bit of the gray in here. Now what we're gonna do is release the black tank. So now we have our hose hooked up to the black tank flush. We've got our valve on here, which is nice because we can turn the water on and then control the flow of the water right here. We're gonna go ahead and turn the water on, and we're gonna let the water flow through the black tank flush system, spraying everything out, including your sensors. And then we're gonna keep an eye on the hose extension, the clear hose extension there. Make sure that once everything starts to run a little more clear, then we know we're all cleaned out. You can see now that that water's flowing through the black tank. This is just gonna help, again, clean out any of the excess residue, clean the sensors off. So you're gonna wanna let this run for a good 30 seconds to maybe a minute, minute and a half. Make sure that the water's all running clear. Now again, because of this attachment, you can easily turn it off here before turning the water off and disconnecting everything. We're not finished yet though. Once you successfully ran your black tank flush and cleaned out your black tank, the last tank that you're gonna wanna clean out is your gray tank. By saving the gray tank till the end, you're saving that soapy water that can come through and again, clean out your hoses and everything else before you're done and packing them all up. So close the black tank up and release the gray tank. Now again, you'll be able to watch the flow of water and you'll know when it's finishing up as the water flow will die down. Now our gray tank slowed down to a trickle, so we're gonna just disconnect everything. And then make sure that before you take off, you just reapply the cap. Before putting your hose away, you may want to go back. You can take the water hose that's readily available at the dump station and just rinse it out a little bit more before packing the hose away. We showed you the black and gray tanks that are located on here. Now the 333 BHTS and some of our other floor plans are going to be equipped with a second gray tank on them as well. Anything with a large camp kitchen will definitely have a separate gray tank, which is the case on this 333 BHTS. It's located on the back. You'd want to make sure that you pull up, repeat the same process. Being a gray tank, all you're going to do is hook your hoses up, open it up, drain it down into the sewage, and you're good to go. Once you've finished up with the dirtiest job in RVing, you're ready to load the family up and head home. Don't forget to check us out on coachmenrv.com, check out our Facebook page, or check out our YouTube video where you can find troubleshooting videos, how-to videos, as well as feature benefit videos for all the Coachmen brands, especially Catalina. Thank you and happy camping.
All right, well, hopefully that was a pretty good walkthrough for you guys. And if you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of the Catalina team. You're able to reach us at our direct line or email in either to our warranty, parts, or sales department. Thank you guys again and welcome to the Coachmen family.